Alrighty, I'm gonna begin here by doing exactly what the title says. We are gonna jump into my video editing workflow. It's not something I want to do, like, I actually wanted to do it a few hours ago, but then, it got a little late and I got work in like 5 hours. Okay, I got more than that. I got work at 7 a.m., so it's like 10 hours. And I gotta be awake at 5-ish, but that's not that early. So, what I'm gonna do is keep it real simple. I just gotta find some missing things here. Yes, and at 10 p.m., a YouTube channel by the name of Clobbering Times will be doing a live stream, which he does every week around this time, and which he continues discussing Star Trek Deep Space Nine with Commander R.M. Briggs and sometimes other guests or co-panelists. But it's a good, friendly group. So I just thought I'd give them a shout out. This guy, I've been watching, I used to watch this guy like back in like 2009. I mean, I still watch him, but he's like the first prepper I took seriously. And this guy, real great guy, does Babylon 5 stuff. Well, apparently that video is taken down. So enough of this, I'm getting sidetracked. I must actually do real work instead of watching random videos like this guy who built a steampunk mechanical hand for himself. And I went to share the video on the Reddit page next effing level, and they were like, oh, you can't share YouTube content, which I would have found out had I read the rules, but I mean, like, what am I supposed to do? Copy the man's video and then upload it to another, video thing like the Reddit video streaming service? But they're lost, pretty interesting mechanism there. Very intricate, but anyway, like I said, I'm getting distracted by YouTube. So I have this playing in the background over here on my phone. This is the Echo-based network.
I know it will not happen.
And EBN, just a good all-around YouTube channel on Star Wars, although they discuss other matters. And, I do recommend checking them out. If you tune into my live stream like right now, which nobody is watching right now, yeah, check these guys out. But enough of me jerking around on the YouTube, is I have to start doing something here, because my plan is to basically do what needs to be done, without zooming in, and, like, I don't know, just get the job done. I gotta get the job done, bottom line. And I believe we need to put a second camera angle. So I'm just gonna do a little tweaking a bit here. I have to do a little quick tweaking here. Oh my god, that is terrible. I got something terrible on this list of videos. Nothing like, that I'm embarrassed about per se, but one of these video thumbnails, you can see the red cups right there, and the title of the video is The Bunny Incident. Okay, so there was an incident involving a bunny rabbit, an Easter bunny of some kind. So yeah, this is like, if anything, maybe I put the camera like that, and then I could put this down here. Now maybe what I could do is I could angle it up, angle it down, because really we just want to see the desk. And then crop a little bit of something here. And then expand it a wee bit. And then, wait, whoops. Yeah, that should do fine. Clean my desk a little bit in case I want to go do anything. And so, speaking of sidetracked, so my intent is to just kind of go over my video editing workflow or content creation workflow. I meant to do it earlier, but had to do some of this stuff. And longer term, I ought to get into a habit of more consistent, uploading and stuff of this nature. So, first thing we're gonna do real quick is I need to check the status of some recorded video data. And as you can see, I was running a DV capture instance here. We can close that. Because ultimately, it turns out one of the better ways to capture VHS tapes to digitize them is to capture them using a DV capture device, a camcorder, over FireWire for all intents and purposes. And what you end up with is, this is not at all a safe, family-friendly example, but we're going to use it anyway. Okay, perfect. I have looping footage here. And if I press the letter D on my keyboard, it turns off into deinterlacing. And you get these horizontal lines here and here. Anytime the camera is moving or anytime anything is moving. So whether... Damn, that happens so fast. I'm trying to stop it on that car. That's actually not that bad. We'll find a different video because this is not family friendly here. Okay, a graduation video. Perfect. So you get these horizontal lines. So if I edit any old, VHS or other camcorder footage analog video, even digital video can be interlaced. I have to address this before I can edit the video. Now, there have been great improvements. So, I'll go over that in a moment. But one thing I want to do first is look for the blank files, because the way my video capture is set up, basically, if I'm recording from a camcorder tape, the program will stop recording at the end of whatever video footage is on that tape. But when I'm recording from a VCR, it doesn't know to stop recording. So it'll literally get to the end of the videotape and it'll record all of this blue blankness. And so I have it limited to half-hour increments, and every half hour it'll just split the file or start a new file. So everything from number 6 to 12 is blankness, blue or gray, about 16 minutes each. And so I have to eliminate 46 gigabytes of that unneeded data. And then everything else is basically good to go. And so all I got to do is identify part 1 of whatever I wanted to record. And I actually recorded what I was doing twice. And so it's probably going to be this one here. Yeah, and this is really bad footage. It's not family friendly at all. This is just a secondary project of sorts, really. That's, oh god, see what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about? Everything there was wrong. Okay, and I just want to be clear that that was wrong. And if you didn't see what was wrong, it wasn't the naked lady that was wrong. I mean, yes, that was not something I want to share on my channel, but it was the other thing. I don't even want to say it. I'm just trying to, god damn it. Jesus. Okay, so maybe I shouldn't be streaming this particular editing session here. Okay, I'm just gonna have to switch to a different, yeah, here, you can look at that screen. Alright, so give me a moment while I inspect this footage, because I am not playing this on my YouTube channel, okay? It's bad, and the reason this footage is being transferred is, okay, so you got this weird stuff, this lady doing some kind of dance, okay? It's a old style stripper video or some shit, right? And if you were paying attention, you saw some nasty stuff a second ago. And some of it, okay, very pretty lady there, give her that. And once again, deinterlacing on, deinterlacing is off. You get these horizontal lines when the subject is moving. You see the horizontal lines here. that is not acceptable when you do your editing, when you put it into a video that you actually share. So now I'm just looking for... Okay, this one is car accident footage. Oh, that's weird. Oh god, I can't share that. I can share this. Okay. Okay, like, this is basically naked cowboys. So, this isn't even the good stuff, but somewhere in this footage is like the New England Electric Company doing a promotional video about nuclear energy. Then there's this weird, like, rated R movie about roller skating. I kid you not, like, you got people doing this whole, like, 70s roller derby type thing in here, and I think it might be borderline softcore porn. But in there are these weird historical reference videos, and those are the things that I'm trying to digitize in this weird project that, you know, involves capturing these weird tapes. So whoops, damn it, I didn't mean to close that. So basically I need to get the data in this folder, copy to my network, and make sure it's labeled correctly. Now I think it is labeled correctly, but once again I gotta double check the footage, and I can't play it back because if I play it back, like, I just saw a naked old lady, okay, like, this is bad. So it goes from naked old lady to some cute cartoon like this. This is fine. Okay, like some, you know, obscure cartoon is fine. Weird naked old lady is not fine, but you gotta, you know, take it as a package deal, you know? Then it goes into car accident footage. Like, I kid you not, like, someone getting loaded into a coroner's vehicle, I'm guessing, and this lady who's getting prepared for plastic surgery. Now, I don't know if this is the after image of the girl who was in the car accident, but what happens in this video is, like, fucked up. Basically, she's, like, going out for, like, a prom. And, yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Like, I don't see any, oh, this is interesting, though. Oh, but I do get an opportunity to illustrate a point here. This is actually really helpful. So let's zoom in. Okay. So, when you capture analog video footage from a VHS tape, from a high 8mm or digital 8 cassette, you have the way they, you know, you have two things. You got, like, when you buy a DVD, you got progressive scan and interlaced. And a lot of people don't really know what that means, but essentially, if you've seen a movie or you've seen home theater equipment being advertised as being able to play content in progressive scan, this would be the opposite. This would be when it's not progressive scan. This is interlaced content. So it's like you got 480p and 480i. You got 1080p and 1080i. This would be the equivalent of like 240i instead of 240p. YouTube, when you go on YouTube and you make it low quality and you set 240p, well, this is 240i instead of p. And what that means is that instead of, like, you know, 20 frames, 29 frames a second, let's say, it's going to actually be 29 fields, or it's going to be like alternating lines. So it'll have 29 lines here, 29 lines here, and it'll switch between the lines, like one next line here, then it goes back and forth. Basically, it's taking the video frames, splitting them into pairs of lines, and alternating between them in order to give the illusion of motion. And so if I press the letter D on my keyboard and we rewind it a little bit, you'll notice that anything that's moving, if you pause it, you get these horizontal lines. So anytime you see these lines in video that has been digitized from an analog source, this is a sign that the video was interlaced. And you're looking at what we call combing artifacts. Now, how you get rid of these combing artifacts, well, some DVD players, some video equipment will do it automatically, like most DVD players certainly will. VLC Media Player, which I'm playing this in right now, will also take care of that. Now, in VLC Media Player, you can go into the menu, turn on deinterlacing, and choose between a multitude of filters. In my experience, Bob and your Diff2X are among the better ones available, but no matter what you're doing here, these are real-time filters, so they potentially may not do the best job compared to something more meticulous. More importantly, when you're relying on completely automatic deinterlacing, now you gotta worry that maybe it's not using the right filter for the source material, for the content you have. And this is a good example. This is my composite AV to HDMI adapter. And it's really straightforward. You plug your camcorder or VCR into this side, and then coming out the other side is a digital HDMI signal. And you can run that into a video capture device. Maybe you have a USB dongle, maybe you have an Elgato, whatever it is, an AVerMedia card, etc. You can go from your VCR or camcorder to HDMI and then into your, HDMI capture device and record it perhaps through OBS, which is very straightforward. But this device is going to automatically filter it. So essentially, you might find it convenient. A lot of people will find it convenient. And if it is convenient for you, go for it. But you lose all control over how you deinterlace the footage. Any video I record from this device, if I go from here to HDMI and into my Elgato, will not have these combing artifacts. These combing artifacts will be absent, but chances are the method I used for getting rid of these lines in my video encoder will do a better job than this device. Furthermore, there is one more problem. This device doesn't really let you go, it only spits out a widescreen signal. So all we have is a switch for 720p and 1080p because technically it is advertised as an upscaler. So it's a deinterlacer and an upscaler. I originally bought it for my N64 and it was sufficient, especially on a TV, because on a TV you could tell the TV to switch between, you could force the TV to display a, non-widescreen image, 4:3. So you can take the 16:9 widescreen image that comes out of here and force the TV to scrunch it up into a non-widescreen image. But this one here, if you're looking for like a good cheap upscaler, something like this would be good. This is one here I got on Amazon. It says on the label N64 to HDMI. And it's better than any other device you can get for cheap. Of course, there are many really good ways to do HDMI, to do high definition on N64. I literally have an HDMI port on my N64. But if you're not looking to put a $300 upgrade in your N64, I totally understand that. There's a $50 device that resembles this that does a really good job too. This one was less than that. And this one's very simple. Why I like this product compared to, any other product in its class is because it has a switch on it. As you can see here, that switch says 16:9 and 4:3. And so I always use it in 4:3 mode. I have almost no reason to run it in widescreen, but there are times where you might find it useful to run in widescreen, most notably in N64 games. Any of these small handful of N64 games that were designed to run in widescreen. And believe it or not, they do exist. And like if you go into the settings for Perfect Dark or South Park 64, you could turn on widescreen. You'll get a letterbox image, and then you could tell your TV to zoom in on the image in order to get rid of the, bars, in order to get rid of the black letterbox, or you could do a number of things. And essentially, this is how you get an early widescreen TV to play N64 games in full screen widescreen, and it works. Like it's obviously, N64 is going to be lower resolution, but it's a good option. And you can even do that with composite AV technically. So this device here is powered by USB. So it comes with a little USB power supply, but it's just like any phone charger will work. And it does not do any extra fancy stuff to the signal. Some of these will do a few fancy things, whereas this is altering the signal. It's running it through a deinterlacing filter, and then it's stretching it when I don't even want to stretch it. So I find that option to be annoying when it comes to digitizing tapes. Getting back on topic here. So let's do a video playback test. So you got this cop man and a fire, and you can even see when it fades, we can see the scan lines. So we're gonna actually do a A-B repeat here. In fact, that's actually one of the, that's a pretty decent way to do it. So okay, this is perfect. So this is interlaced video footage captured from a VHS tape that was probably recorded in EP mode. So it's going to be even worse quality, but the source material is very old, obviously captured on some kind of film, perhaps some kind of 8mm, perhaps some kind of 16mm film. And so, of course, the frame rate I recorded it at is going to be higher than the source content. Maybe the original was 24 frames a second, and we're looking at 29.97. And that's what we see here, is 29.97 frames. 16-bit audio, 48 kilohertz, although that's not super important to me right now. Now watch this. I press D. It runs the deinterlacing filter. We pause it. We no longer see any issue, right? Can we cycle through different filters? Let's see. Okay, we turn the filter on. You'll see lines when you pause it sometimes. We see horizontal lines when we see the guy walking by. If we press Shift D, we can switch between filter and no filter. So now we got the Bob filter on. So we're going to do D to turn it off. Now we get horizontal lines. We're going to turn it on now. Nothing radical, but when we pause it, he looks all right. You do see a minor change when it's paused. And it's highly subjective to determine is the quality better or worse with it being on. Now here's where the money maker is, if that's even the right term. Yeah, we're gonna do something here. We're gonna make that full screen. Okay, so this poor lady here, I feel bad. I'm using her after her car accident, but we're gonna use. So the human eye moves pretty quick when you blink, and if I pause it at the right instant. It's almost impossible for me to pause it at the right time. Okay, so that doesn't really work. Okay, perfect. So you can even see the fingertip, the pen, we get scan lines. There's actually a cartoon somewhere on this tape that would probably be really helpful for illustrating my point. But what I am going to do is go back here real quick because there was one crucial area where I can demonstrate my point. Right here. Okay, so we don't actually see any scan lines here. But what happens is you get these really fine horizontal lines here. But when I turn on deinterlacing, those horizontal lines are gone. Usually, especially when you have a lot of fast motion, those horizontal lines can be very distracting. And so we want to filter those lines out, but if you filter them out too much, you actually lose quality, you lose detail. Hey, what's up, Brandon Looney Tunes Fan 2000? You uploaded new videos, you say? Cool. I'm going to make a bookmark. In fact, Echo Base Network just finished streaming, and I have Brandon Looney Tunes Fan 2000 in the chat right now. I do recommend checking out his content. Subscribe to his channel. You might find something you like. This past week, he's got some Looney Tunes content, and he's also done a bunch of really cool Simpsons Easter eggs. More, what I mean is DVD Easter eggs. And, you know, so you got DVD movies, deleted scenes, special features, and sometimes they hide content in the menu on a DVD. Like, sometimes you just got to move the pointer to the left or the right, and you'll see it highlighting a part of the menu that you didn't expect to be there, like a hidden menu element. And when you click on it, you'll see like things like hidden pictures, sketches by the creator of The Simpsons, you know, sketches from concept art. And it makes me wonder to check what else I'm missing out on when I don't look at the menus on a DVD, because a lot of us, you know, we have movies that we've streamed, legitimately streamed, or copied from various sources, and we don't get those DVD special features as much anymore. And on occasion, somebody will put together a good, you know, copy. Like when I copy my movies, like to my computer for my personal consumption, I do go out of my way to include all of this special features content, and it does take me a little more effort to do it, but I mean, this stuff can be cool. But one thing I never even really looked for are hidden gems, hidden Easter eggs, and this has me rethinking it, which is all the more reason to keep your DVDs, because you can find interesting hidden content stashed away on DVDs. So with that, yeah, Brandon Looney Tunes Fan 2000 has 2 new videos out. I do, and that's exactly as I read it, spelled Brandon, one word, Brandon Looney Tunes Fan 2000. And he's got Bugs Bunny Hair Extraordinaire, 2010 DVD opening and menu walkthrough remake road. So he did a remake, and that's, of course, he's really emphasizing he's on the road to 1K. He's working towards 1,000 subscribers. The Simpsons Season 7 DVD review, road to 1. Oh, cool, DVD review. I'm going to definitely check that out in a little while. And then, cool. I got that right there on my list. Cool. So getting back on here, when you deinterlace video and it's moving, you get rid of those horizontal lines, which is good. But when there is no motion, when something is not moving, you do lose a little bit of detail. And so when I turn on the filter, like this is no filter, we get a split 2 lines here. When I turn it on, there's only 1 line, and that might be better. But things get scrunched up. I'm trying to see if I can find an example here. Okay, let's play the video a little further. We're going to turn off the A-B repeat. Perfect. Well, not really perfect, but Okay, excellent. So now we got the deinterlacing filter off. And when this man moves the pen, we can pause it and sometimes see these horizontal lines here. These are the combing artifacts, and they're more emphasized when things are moving quickly. But since his hand is the only part really moving in this frame, that's where you're going to see the lines most notably. If you're having a hard time seeing them, I'll zoom in a little bit for you. And you can see like right there, like those stair-stepping lines, as I call them. Now, where did my mouse pointer go? Okay. These lines here. Now, if we play the segment with the filter, off, you can see the lines as it's playing. They may not be super noticeable in this instance, but they're definitely there. And they become very clear when you pause it, like, at the right part. And in many cases, these will be more emphasized, more distinctly visible. So, now, question is, what other filters are there? Well, we got this one here. Now, this filter, let's turn it on now. Okay, no horizontal lines. Quality seems fine enough. Yeah, so the quality of this video is so low, I can't even see any reduction of quality. So I'm off to a good start with demonstrating quality issues here. Now, one area I did notice something was right around here, I think. Honestly, this video is like the worst test example. Oh god, no, no, no. Okay, so that TV show's got really messed up stuff on it. So I'm just gonna go tag it and bag it. So we got part 1, 2, 3, and that's like 90 minutes of video right there. And therefore, I think this is gonna be like whatever was recorded on this tape back in 1999. That is a New York City subway murder in 2001, actually. Yeah. And that's Al Sharpton back when he was fat. Um, Reverend Al Sharpton, Midtown. All right, so this is great. Okay, this is perfect. So we got some interlaced footage right here from the news. I didn't think that the boring news would save my day, but I'm gonna make use of this somehow. So we're gonna rewind it and we're gonna stop it right here when this lady is waving this flag. Perfect. She's beautiful. So, see those horizontal lines? Very distinct. And when I pause it, you can see them very clearly, especially since we're zoomed in. Now, what's really cool about this is this lady here and this lady here, they're not really moving a lot, and the flag isn't obfuscating the image. This building here, too, because when I turn off the filter or turn it on, okay, the lines go away. But what's interesting is when you look at this building in the back here, you got a dark shadow or some element here and here. So it's a repeating element. This is not just a glitch in the video because we have this element here. So most likely it's part of the building. And if I'm paused and I turn the filter on, you'll notice that a lot of the visual elements back here get changed. So this straight black line here, whatever it is, a structural element, some kind of molding. Okay, looks pretty clear. You got some definition, but mostly it's a black line. But when I turn on deinterlacing, it changes that, it changes this, and that's because the deinterlacing filter is actually removing detail. We do have some jaggedness. Oh wait, you can't see it. I'm sorry. Let me drag it over. Okay, my apologies. So we're looking at the building in the background. So what I did was I have this building here. And we got a black line here, and we have another black line above that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to pan up a little bit. Okay, good. So now, if I go back to this screen, I got a dark black like detail here, and this long black line here with some, I guess brightly patched areas here and here. And we definitely see like, some of the combing, artifacts. Not that bad because when it's not moving, the scan lines aren't very distinct. It's when the flag is moving, that's where the scan lines become most distinct. Like you see right here, like it's not just that it's got a jagged pattern like on the edges of things. It's like, no, there's actually like lines, very distinct lines. And when I turn the filter on, you'll notice, forget about the flag, looking at the building here, this dark colored element, this detailed element of a window of some kind, some texture over here. This part kind of gets screwed up over here. This was perfectly fine without the deinterlacing on. And the minute I enable the deinterlacing filter, we lose some detail. Okay, we're losing detail all over the place. So basically what happens when you deinterlace video sometimes is you get rid of the annoying stuff. So by turning on the deinterlacing filter, we get rid of these little, lines here. But we lose detail on the building in the background. So I turn on the filter and this right here gets a little weird. Right here gets a little weird. Right here gets a little weird. Something gets weird over here. And down here, these might be lights or something hanging from the building, these two black dots. I turn on the filter and they become less defined while things get weird over here. So it's like this part of the video, anything that's moving is going to look worse when you turn off the filter. But everything that isn't moving tends to look better when the filter is not on or when it's off. Conversely, when you turn on the filter, all of the moving stuff like this flag looks better. Okay, so when you turn on the deinterlacing filter, the moving elements like the flag look better, but all of the static elements tend to lose a little bit of detail. So filter on, that's what we see. We see lost detail. Filter off. Oh shit, what did I just do? Fuck. Okay, that sucks. See if we can get that back. Okay, we got it right here. Good. Okay, this one's playing a little more fast. I think we're gonna let that play a little differently. Damn it, news cameraman panning on me. Okay, we got the filter on, filter off. So with the filter off, we got lines and things blending together. I would say observe the lady in the background here, believe it or not. I would say the filter gets rid of the distracting horizontal lines on her nose, which is a net positive, but it can also blur details. So it's like, it's a mixed, it is a mixed blessing. It is no doubt about it. Like, having deinterlacing available can be a really mixed blessing. And a good, way to deinterlace is, well, how do I deinterlace this? I got a few options. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to say news test, because effectively that's what that is. That's a news sample. In fact, that's the news sample. So I should do 7 news. Okay, and this one here was just some generic stuff, so I don't even really want this right here. So I'll get rid of that 8 gigabytes of data. And this is some other prison drama show, which I think is going to be exceptionally boring. So we'll get rid of that too. So I'm going to copy these over the network. In fact, we're going to copy this whole folder over the network. And I have a designated okay, so that will copy over my network, and look at that. I still have the zoom on. My apologies. There we go. Let's zoom out a little more. Okay, so that footage needs to be deinterlaced. How would I deinterlace it? Well, there are many ways to skin a cat. We can use, whoops, I do not want to keep that open. Good, I'm glad the computer's acting like that. So we can use Handbrake. Handbrake is a very straightforward video encoder. Its initial claim to popularity was when it was used for DVDs and stuff like that. But it's got other uses, of course. That was an awful video. I did not watch this video, by the way. Just so you know, I have this like in my I must have opened this YouTube video last. I don't even know where it is on my screen. I don't have this video opened right now. But when I hit the volume button on my mouse, because I have a volume button on my mouse trackball, it shows Zeitgeist Addendum. And I'm like, I am totally against this garbage. I am. In fact, I'm going to comment on it right now. I think it's garbage. I had a coworker, he was saying, oh, you should check out the Zeitgeist movie. And I'm like, yeah, I seen it. Look, the monetary economic stuff was kind of interesting, but it's kind of garbage. It's like conspiracy theories for the masses, almost like just to keep people distracted watching garbage. And one thing that, he was saying I should watch it because I do astronomy, I do astrophotography, and he's saying, oh, you should check out the Zeitgeist documentary. They do astrology stuff. And I'm like, astrology? Look, I'm not saying it depends. So if you use it for real scientific conclusions, then yes, it is pseudoscience. Astrology has a place in people's lives. It just doesn't really, I think, go hand in hand with when what the observations I'm making on my telescope. It's like I see Jupiter, I see Mars, I see Jupiter at opposition. It's really bright, and I see Mars at its closest is bigger than it would be, other times of the year or in general. And even when Mars is at its biggest, it's not that big. It's just like angular resolution, a couple of like arc seconds wider than it normally is. But the problem with Zeitgeist I had was like the coworker was basically telling me to watch it because they were using astrology to draw parallels between Christian lore, Christianity, stories of Jesus, Mary, Joseph, whatever. I'm not super familiar, but I was like, okay, so there's a loose connection. I get it. Maybe the Bible was inspired by, some Egyptian stuff. But then on the other hand, you ask a Christian scholar, they'll beg to differ. And granted, maybe they have a bias, but people on sites like Quora made pretty good cases as to why they think the conclusions drawn in this documentary were really lame. And, well, some of this is I think about their Venus project concept, and some of it sounds interesting on the surface. It's like if everyone has all of the necessities to life, then they can spend time doing artwork, and then nobody has to buy artwork because people would give their artwork away, you know, because they love making it or some shit like that. I remember another person wrote up an article about why the Venus Project is so great, and basically they were arguing that, you know, if we lived in a, so they were saying in the Venus Project, all of the money for what you need to eat to survive would be provided to you. And you would only need to work 20 hours a week, and everyone would work 20 hours a week, and this would make it possible for everyone to have everything they would ever need. And then the rest of the time you could spend relaxing or engaged in a hobby, and there would be this like massive amount of artwork because all these people making artwork could, you know, just do it as their hobby. And of course you would say, well, do I have to earn more money if I want to do a hobby because I need more than the 20 hours to, you know, work and survive? And the person in the article was like, oh no, you know, you would be provided everything you need in order to perform your hobby. And I thought, okay, cool. But I'm like thinking, I do astrophotography. This is not the cheapest hobby. Okay, I mean, you could do it on the cheap. You could find ways to do it more economically, but at the end of the day, you know, if I lived in a, you know, communist utopia with this Venus project, and you know, someone needs to provide me with what I need in order to do astronomy, if the government, whoever is running the show, you know, what if I want more telescope than they're willing to provide me? Can I, you know, work a second job in order to earn money so that I could buy the better telescope? Or will I be stuck with whatever garbage they deem necessary? What if one person is happy with a modest telescope, but another person demands a $10,000 telescope? You know, how do you reconcile this? And this is exactly why we have capitalism. It's like you are gonna put different people are gonna put different value on any given item, and we use the economy, so to speak, to make an agreement on what that item is worth. And essentially it's like something is worth less to me than it is to you, but you might have something that's worth more to me than it is to you, and we meet each other halfway and we make an exchange. And I believe the Venus Project is either ignoring this or misunderstanding any of this, and taking advantage of people is wishful thinking. Because I mean, look, let's face it, you can convince a lot of people who have nothing that having a little more, something a little bit more is better. But yeah, I didn't even get any video editing done. So real quick, let's stop the timer. Start the timer. Okay, timer has started, and I'm supposed to edit video right now. So let's close this garbage documentary, which I really don't like, that I was ranting about. And let's check that network drive. I'm sure the files transfer. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. I'm sure my file transfer has been done. Okay, so we're going to use the news as the test. And if I drag and drop into Handbrake, I can deinterlace it. But instead of waiting for the whole video to deinterlace, because generally I can take this 7 gigabytes of video and get it down to 700 megabytes with no distinguishable loss in quality by using these settings, more or less, give or take, you know, a couple of differences. But if I want to, you know, so if I want to compress the video down to 700 megabytes, I can do that with no distinguishable loss of quality, but it would take a little time. So if this is a half-hour video, I could do it probably in about a third of the time, maybe less, sometimes 1/10 of the time, depending on how you're doing it. So I've had videos that were 1 hour long that took 6 minutes to convert from one format to another. I've had videos that take a little bit longer depending on certain factors. And because this is on a network drive and I'm running a Handbrake on this computer, maybe it takes a little bit longer. Can we try it out? Yeah, let's try it out. So I got these settings plugged in. I'm going to turn off the de-interlacing filter and we're going to just do an experiment. Now, because we're running on a network drive, there might be a bit of a bottleneck here, but we're getting 88 frames per second. The original video is 29.97. We're getting a little less than triple the speed, but we'll just say more than double the playback speed. So a half-hour video in this case will take less than 15 minutes to convert. And in fact, that's what it says, 11 minutes down here. If it wasn't on a network drive, could it happen quicker? Possibly. Oh my God, I'm not even showing my screen. I hate when this happens. This is why I bought a Stream Deck. Okay, from the top. So this is the video I recorded, right? From a VHS tape. It is interlaced, meaning, you know, you're going to get combing artifacts when you see anything in the video that is moving, anything that is moving quickly. Like over here, if I turn off the filter, you can see these horizontal lines. These are called combing artifacts. And you can see them a little better right here. If you don't filter those out either in real time using a real-time de-interlacing filter, such as one of these, or by using a video encoder, you're going to see these unsightly lines in a lot of cases. And so the caveat is, if I was converting this video locally, I might be able to get 300 frames a second. Right now, I'm doing it over a network connection. I'm saturating my network, connection right now, so I'm not getting the 300 frames a second I would normally get. But this is still very illustrative in that we can get about nearly triple of this speed, meaning that, you know, we can get this half-hour video re-encoded in a third of the time. Okay, cool. We're going to stop the encoder now. And we're going to tell it we want to enable de-interlacing. So we're going to say default, and we're going to tell it decomb. Now, decombing in theory is only supposed to de-interlace video if there are signs of visible scan lines. So if it doesn't see combing artifacts in the video, it skips the filtering of those frames. And this is because it saves you a lot of time. Now we're going to run the encoder again, and while that's happening, I'm going to go ahead and copy this to my thing. I'm just putting a note there for myself. Okay, we're still getting 87 frames a second, surprisingly. My guess is it's not applying the filter on all of the frames. One of the interesting things is it doesn't always do a good job of identifying the combing artifact. So we can forcibly turn it on and see what happens. Now we're still getting 80. Okay, so this is still running at a pretty good clip. You know what? We're gonna do two things. We're gonna just hmm. Okay, now that is moving at a brutally slow speed. Ugh, hate when this happens. Might have to investigate something here. Because what was happening was Task Manager was telling me I'm getting 100 megabits per second, not megabytes. So that means either I have a problem with my network switch or something crimped a wire, something like, I don't even know. Like, if you run an Ethernet cable outdoors, sometimes rodents will, chew on it. And I do have a stretch of cable running outside, but this should not be happening, so I must investigate right now. This might interrupt the stream, and if it does, oh well, I got work late. I should be doing this on a scheduled basis instead. But I'm gonna take a look and investigate. Alrighty, so I did a little investigating and I need to do further investigation because it appears that I'm not getting gigabit speed between my, well, wait, am I getting? Yeah, I'm not getting gigabit speed between my server and my desktop. And last time this happened, it was because a vacuum cleaner effectively chewed on the cable. And so, when that sort of thing happens, the way that Cat 5e or Cat 6 Ethernet cable works, any thing with an RJ45 jack works, is it'll negotiate with the switching device until it finds the speed that works. So, each Ethernet cable has 8 wires inside of it, and if you cut like 2 of them, it will literally negotiate until it figures out what speed works. And so if it has to go down to, from gigabit to 100 megabit, it'll run at the slowest speed. If it has to go slower, it'll go slower if it's really bad. It is a very resilient standard, but it also means that sometimes you can run into these types of issues and discover them by accident. Yeah, that's a bummer. That is such a bummer. Now, I could still edit video. I could definitely still edit video. So maybe we'll do that real quick. So forgetting about the data I was trying to copy, let's see if there's a video project that I have right now that we can work on. And let's see here. We got the Easter Bunny incident. That's probably not a good idea. I have the meat slicer. Oh, I have my Hedora review I gotta finish. I feel like that's nowhere near done. I think that's gonna take me hours. I'm not really trying to get involved in that right now. I have a remastering of the Port Richmond High School 2004 talent show. You know what? Yeah, nah, man, I gotta make a schedule. Wait, I didn't even start editing this. No, that is looking really daunting right now. I am delisting this video. I didn't get anything done. Let's see here. This was kind of cool in this Godzilla movie. Oh. Hmm. Okay. This is an interesting video I'm working on, but I'm not looking at get into editing this late on my Sunday. Yes, I know it's Saturday, but I have work tomorrow, so it's like Sunday for me. But what I am gonna do is, well, I just want to get something done, like something that I can upload, something I can share, something, right? And at some point I have to go over digitizing Game Boy games, but that's not happening right now. But some months ago I wanted to show this Star Trek book off, and it was given to me by a good friend many years ago, because this friend knew I liked Star Trek and he thought this was right up my alley. And I think we're gonna crop the edge of my desk out of this. I'm gonna crop the edge of. Okay, that'll do. Alrighty, good. Start recording. Alrighty. So in this video, I'm gonna show off something This is how my recording flow goes. Oh, cool. What's up, Norma? How you doing? I was just about to wrap up, but I figure I'd record a quick video, so even though this is a live stream, sometimes what I do is I'll record a video just to get it done so I don't have to edit it later. So I think I'll record this quick video, and then I'll have to splice it up and upload it separately. But you're gonna actually watch me record a video even though I'm already streaming live, so I have to hit my record button. But it's wonderful seeing you, Norma. Hope your week was going well. I know you had a busy week this week. I hope everything went well. But let's see, let's begin. So I gotta hit the button. Yeah, so quite a while back, a friend gave me a Star Trek book. They picked it up somewhere, like at a used bookstore, and we can see it right here. This is the Star Trek Compendium, and this is something you would see, like, if you ever watch the Nerdporial Life Form on YouTube. This is something that one of his guests, I mean, granted, the guest has his own YouTube channel, a gentleman named Baron Orman-Tag, and Baron Orman-Tag has his own YouTube channel and a show called Baron After Dark. And this is the kind of book that Baron would own. And in fact, right after I thought about this book doing one of the Star Trek streams, literally this guy pulls this book out on camera. So I thought it was kind of like a funny coincidence. But, it's basically like a really straightforward black and white printed item. It has, as it says on the cover, special 20th anniversary edition, completely revised and updated. And they say it includes a show-by-show guide and over 125 rare and exciting photos. And that is the part that excites me, rare and exciting photos. So going through here, there was a page that had a crease on it. And it appears that one of the previous owners folded the page in order to make a bookmark out of it. And of course, that kind of ruins the book a little bit, but whatever. They at least I found something cool. Now, I of course flattened it out since, I uncreased it. Here we go. Beautiful. And so something that jumped out at me was this picture of Montgomery Scott, chief engineer of the Enterprise. And let's see if we can adjust the camera here. Getting the aim on this is a little tricky. There we go. So you can see Scotty here, and he's holding a bottle in his hand. And it says, Scotty gives his all for the ship. Is this upside down? It is upside down, isn't it? I gotta flip this upside down. That is not supposed to be upside down, but we're gonna fix it right now. All right, good. There we go. How many things I hold upside down today? Oh, getting the orientation right is a little tricky now. All right. Yeah, so basically it's got Scotty. Man, I gotta flip this camera one of these days, but you got Scotty holding his bottle, and it says Scotty gives his all for the ship. And it's true, we know Scotty loves the Enterprise like, you know, a close family member, a girlfriend. And this is definitely something that was never released on TV. So I would suspect this is one of the 100 and something images that did not make it into the TV show. So, you know, pretty neat right here, but this isn't even the fun part. Although you got some of these old visual effects images here. The first appearance of the Klingon ship. Kirk with a United Federation of Planets flag. This episode here, Spock's brain, was not the most popular one, but I had fun watching it. You know, it starts off with this like 1960s looking lady beaming aboard the ship to steal Spock's brain. You know, they have this really advanced technology, but they need to steal Spock's brain in order to maintain life support on their, you know, underground bunker planet. Let's see, that's from the Tholian web. So, you know, all in all, if you go through here, you might find an image or two that was never on TV. That's kind of what I'm looking for at a glance. At a glance, I'm looking for something that was never on television, although nothing's jumping out at me right here. So, what else did this come with? Well, I think it even says it on the back here. No, it doesn't, but that's okay. I'll tell you exactly what this is. It says Giant Poster Book, Voyage 5. And so this is actually part of a series of poster books. This is number 5 from that series of poster books. And it includes an exclusive interview inside a Vulcan mind, Planet Vulcan Revisited. Stardate 7701.01 for $1. On the back, it does tell us a little bit about, actually has some funny stuff on there. So they have back issues. So this being number 5, they allow you to order all of these that, you know, were already released. So you got Spock sitting at the control panel. I have an image like this, a very glossy image I got in the Star Trek Fan Club magazine back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And you got the Tholian web. Personally, I would love to get my hands on that poster right there. That one's like a classic and always cool to look at. I mean, in Star Trek lore, the Tholians really are a big deal. And anybody who watched the prequel series, Enterprise, the one with Scott Bakula in it, you might remember the episode with the Mirror Universe, and they had some Tholians in there. And these guys, basically, they have a body made out of crystal. And in this episode of the Enterprise prequel, they had the Tholian in a isolation chamber, and the doctor was like, sort of like Joseph Mengele. He's cranking up some hypersonic frequency sound, and it's causing resonance, and the Tholian guy's body is being tortured until it shatters, almost like a wine glass when you play high frequency sounds. And, you know, so that's a pretty cool poster. Oh, yeah, and this is actually this month's poster. Wait, so I believe actually, so this was the front cover of the poster book, and inside here we're going to see Spock playing his harp. Now, it's not called a harp. What is it called? It is called... It says, oft-times, Mr. Spock expresses his mathematical interests musically. Much like Sherlock Holmes and his violin, Spock utilized the lirette as a means of relaxation and concentration. Elementary and logical, exclamation point. Now, before I open this up, I should mention some funny stuff here. this headline says, "Miracle cure found for Star Trek fever. Millions rejoice." And basically it's this long article about people who are afflicted, who are addicts for Star Trek, needing to, get their fixed. And they literally use all of these, like, drug-addled analogies. Like, naturally, the Star Trek addict was soon faced with the frightening aspect of cold turkey or securing some limited relief through programs syndicated by local stations. By 1972, Star Trek fever had reached epidemic proportions. Huge underground networks of the afflicted sprang up, supplying, and they got it in quotation marks, each other with paraphernalia to complicate the problem further, with thousands of unfeeling pushers who began to turn up at schoolyards and department stores, preying on the hooked with poor quality goods at premium prices. So basically meaning there was a bunch of low quality junk being sold to Star Trek fans. And this happens. You become a fan of something and you can't find anything, but you're willing to buy anything. It's just like you want like a toy of the Starship Orville and you can't find one, but you go to Chinatown, you find a junk one, you're like, okay, fine, I'll buy it because it's available. Granted, this is a 3D printed Orville, which I think came out pretty nice, but of course that's an option. I can print out my own Starship. So this is the USS Daedalus, and it may look like the Olympic class from Next Generation, from the last episode in the future when Dr. Crusher has a medical ship, but this ship is vastly more primitive. The Daedalus class has a lot in common with the original Enterprise. You got the straight nacelle design, for example, straight cylindrical. You got a little shuttle bay back here, granted that didn't come out so good. And, this is just what Starfleet was using before Kirk's Enterprise. This was actually a smaller ship, even though it appears larger. It was a smaller ship, much more cramped, very little accommodation for creature comfort. And so, yeah, these guys are selling something to Trekkies here. And they got a trivia quiz right here. One of these days, maybe I'll do a separate video where I do the trivia quiz and see how well I do. Maybe I'll get some other people in on it. Down here, we got Planet Vulcan, 9,003 years. So I guess that's the year on Vulcan. And, this is from the episode Amok Time, when he has to engage in the Pon farr challenge with Kirk, because for some odd reason, Spock's girlfriend decides to pit him against whoever that guy's name is. I think his name was Zahn, something like that. He had a funny name, funny Vulcan name there. But basically, Spock's wife, was gonna have him fight somebody, and for some reason, it became Kirk. And this goes into great detail. This probably hashes out a lot of lore. So then we unfold it and we get this like newspaper like spread here. Almost like cracking open a New York Times or a Wall Street Journal. The Spock interview. So this could be a lot of fun here. Especially, Nimoy, he had a lot of, depth to his mind. Inside the Vulcan mind, speaking of mind, and that episode when Spock fell in love with that lovely lady. And that was an interesting episode. I remember, he was, really suave with this lady. And, it got to a point where he had to say goodbye because Kirk took away the drugs. Because at the time, Spock was under the influence of some kind of, spell. There was basically a psychoactive plant on a planet that was causing Spock to, act differently. And the solution was to make Spock angry in order for his brain to, become less foggy. If memory serves me right, it started off with Kirk basically mouthing off insults to Spock, saying, your mind is like a computer and all this crazy shit. And ultimately it took Kirk hitting Spock in the back with a wrench or a spanner to, get him to fight. And there it is. This is the beautiful poster that's included. Now, of course, because it was folded for decades, you got a big hole in the middle. Not really a big hole, but there's definitely a hole in here. I wouldn't fold it and unfold it too many times. There's a big hole here, but if I put it in a frame, I think it'll keep its shape. So I have two ideas one idea is to seek out a higher resolution version of this image and just print it myself and hang it, you know, if I want to do something cool like that. Or if I can't find a higher resolution copy of this image, find a way to scan it and stitch it together. And then once I do that, I could, you know, take away the lines. You know, I mean, once you scan something like this, even if you're scanning these creases here, it's relatively trivial to get rid of the creases. Not really a big deal. So, might do that. And if I can't even do that, or if I find it more inconvenient, I might even still frame this. I'm highly tempted to frame it, but I suspect this has to be available online, that somebody did it on a large, you know, format scanner. Generally, you can't really scan something like this in a conventional sense. You could put it on a flatbed scanner and do it in sections, but at that point, most people would just take a picture of it, because a lot of times a photograph will suffice when it comes to scanning a document or a large document like this. So that was included with the Star Trek Compendium. I don't know if this is available in ebook format, but as much as I like reading, when it's something that I don't want to ruin, I don't travel with it. So this is something I wouldn't really travel with out of fear of ruining it. And so, you know, I can only read this at home, perhaps when I'm relaxing or something. But what I find I like to do is buy an ebook and the physical book, especially if it's like a small author. And as it is right now, there is an author, I posted the link on a previous video, R.M. Briggs. If you look up, I think, sci-fi, fantasy, science fiction stories, R.M. Briggs. She released a sci-fi short story book recently. I think it's a series, or a number of short stories in there. And there we are. So I think I'm going to pack it in. My original plan for tonight's video was to literally do my video editing workflow. You know, like just straight up like edit some video, go open up the editing software, and you know, I mean, like I even have it up on screen right here. So I got an application called DaVinci Resolve, and there wasn't any active editing project I wanted to do right now on camera, but I said, okay, you know what, I digitized some videotapes. I can go over my process for converting videotapes into, you know, into converting them and cleaning them up. Basically, there's a, you know, a few steps in there, and that's when I discovered a minor problem. I think Mickey Mouse might have chewed up on one of my network lines, so I actually have to go and follow the cable that is going to my computer right now and see if there's a break in the line, because I'm not getting full speed, because I went to copy a movie from my server to this computer so that I can edit it, and that's when I ran into a problem. So that's why I'm not currently editing video, and also I don't want to get into an overly involved project, but ultimately an upcoming project will involve editing this content. Maybe I might even schedule a stream later in the week, because I basically want to make a video where I show people how you can hook a VCR up to an old camcorder to convert VHS tapes to digital, you know, digital video files. And then there are a couple of other steps in there, because when you digitize VHS tapes, you get these ugly horizontal lines on the screen, and if you filter them out using the easy way, the image gets blurrier. So I may very well do an actual scheduled stream, because right now I don't have I'm not in the habit of scheduling streams. But with that said, yeah, I really appreciate you dropping in, Norma, and glad, you know, I was able to show this book off. It kind of just happened spur of the moment. When I got sidetracked by some technical issues, I was like, yeah, you know what the heck, I'll show off this cool book over here. And I got a couple of books in the drawer. I might even maybe do something on a weekly basis. Like, I should do like 2 different shows on a weekly basis, and that would probably be a good start for my YouTube channel. But I got a couple of interesting books in this desk drawer, sci-fi oriented, and Starship technical manual, stuff like that. But like I said, can't really get into editing right now. I mean, I know how this goes. You think you're gonna spend a few minutes editing a video, next thing you know, you're sitting here 4 hours later. So I think I'll keep it simple. I I thought about doing a Nintendo stream tonight, but my luck, I'll have 10 friends jump into the stream, and then I won't be able to detach from the computer. You know, I'll be stuck to the computer after that. So my problem is, Norma, that I always think to do these things like on Sunday. This is my Sunday because, you know, I go to work tomorrow, even though tomorrow is Sunday. And, you know, it's like, if it was just yesterday, I could be up all night doing this. But now I can't be up all night. But anyway, Norma, I thank you very, very much for dropping in. I hope to see you again soon. And I'm thinking about the cycle out of this. For anybody else watching later, anybody tuning in later, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave a comment. You know, and check out my other videos. Once again, thank you for watching, Norma. I appreciate seeing you in the chat. And also a shout out to Brandon Looney Tunes Fan 2000. You know, he was doing a lot of Simpsons content the past week. He's been basically finding Easter eggs in the deleted scenes and these special features on the DVD box sets for the Simpsons. But most of what Brandon Looney Tunes Fan 2000 does involves Looney Tunes, as it's in his name. And with that said, I'm gonna conclude this video now. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we shall now end transmission.